Great. So let's start our today's session that is basically on understanding some advanced operator in Google, which is something like related, in URL, in text, and in title. So far, we covered very basic operators of and, or, not, and how do we use those operators in Google as well on LinkedIn and another job portals, any other job portals, and with a dive deep furthermore on those, how exactly each and every operator was operating when we use them on a Google and when we use them on a LinkedIn or any other job portals. So you can refer to the previous recordings for the same. And also, if you're stuck somewhere, you also have detailed notes over here, which can also um, capture it while you practice. From Monday to Friday, you practice, and then Saturday, Sunday, you can just come here for the live session. Now, coming back for today's session, that is for yeah, understanding some advanced operator in Google, like related colon, in URL colon, in text colon, and in title. So why do we call it as a level 2? As I mentioned in the WhatsApp group, this is going to be a level 2. And then the reason because now let's see. Let's start with related. So let's see, here it is related www.capgemini.com. Okay. So what related operator does is like it basically reads capgemini.com website, see the text which is entering on a capgemini.com website, uh, and match the similar text which is existing on other websites, and then try showing up those particular results. So that is the reason when we tried for related colon www.capgemini.com, we started getting a list of results which are doing a similar job like Capgemini, something like TCS or Infosys, Temenos, HCL Tech, PwC, Boston Consulting, Avnade, Pega, IBM, Sojeti. So these are all the list of companies which have. So they must be doing a similar work. And also, moreover, why this list is coming? Because they might have a content, they might have a text in their website which is matching similar to what the content is existing on a Capgemini website. And that is how these websites are coming. Now, how it is useful for me as a recruiter, how will I use this? Definitely, as a recruiter, when I'm coming up with a long list of companies, let's say there was one use case. When I was working at Amazon, I've been given a requirement for Alexa teams, and that team was based out of Chennai. And then I was trying my old pattern, the way I was doing for the Bangalore location, but I terribly failed in the first month. Then I realized why I'm failing, why I'm not getting a right candidate. Then my manager told, just try to dive deep. Where are you going wrong? I know that you'll definitely come out of the situation, but try to see. And they had a complete faith. Then I thought, let me see if I can go behind devices companies. Definitely, I had a list of product companies which are from the application side. But at the same time, I also wanted a list of devices companies, OTT companies, over the top media, maybe something similar kind of a company. Then I thought like, okay, fine. Now let me just go with www.samsung.com. Then I started with Samsung. So we have a couple of, I don't see any much results. Let's say Intel. So Samsung, it's phone. So yeah, Intel, after entering Intel, I got Broadcom, Microsoft, Excelink, Marvell, Asus, Analog, ARM. Similarly, I'll take this particular list of 20 companies which are coming in. I'll put it in my sheet. Then instead of Intel now, I might go with ARM. Again, I got 30 list of 30 companies. I'll take all these companies and I'll put in the list. So again, going behind the list, one by one, one by one, when you go behind those particular companies, we start seeing a long list of companies, which is into the basically in devices, which is basically in manufacturing chips, or which is basically uh, companies like who are into um, uh, manufacturing laptops or manufacturing some network related companies or manufacturing mobile. Those are the list of companies or manufacturing microchips. So chip level companies or devices kind of a companies. These are the companies which are coming in. Then definitely I can come up with a long list of searches. And that is how, like recently when I mentioned that, okay, fine. today itself, right? We were running some contest where I was testing our website, where people come and they fill the form, and once they fill the form, they get the top 100 list of product companies. So this was, where is it? Mm, 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 mm. Yes, I'll just go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. So that's it. And that's how I came up actually, a list of applications company and the list of devices company. And this is the easiest way for us to target the list of companies when we go behind that. And that's how I was able to crack that um, Alexa hiring for Chennai market, which is one of the most difficult market again. So if you see here, you can see the list of all those devices companies. These companies might not be earlier, I was aware. I was only targeting this list of companies, but these are the companies which I was not really aware. But when I changed the strategy, then it started working out. So that's how this operator related is used. So there's a one use case for this operator related, which are the list of companies are coming here. These are the list of companies which has lots of visits. Means as per the SEO rating in a backend, Google does the SEO ratings for these companies based on the content available and based on the number of visits people made. Based on that, this list is coming. Otherwise, let's say just before a year, one website has come. Let's see our website. Will it show something related to our website, which is launched just recently, a few weeks ago? I don't think so, because there is not much data for Google to capture. Once this website gets so much exploded, once people start visiting on regular basis, then that time it might be possibility that, okay, fine, Google will start showing a list of results. Something like I was trying with some other results also. Uplers, Uplers. So there is no result absolutely. Or any startup which has just started a month ago, 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, or 6 months ago, and they do not have enough SEO ratings in Google, you might not see those list of results. But here, well established or well rated or well searchable companies are able to come here. So yeah, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts on related? What does related do? Related colon. I'm a good, clear. Let's say
Yes, sir.
Broadcom. Then I have a list of Broadcom. Let's say Marvel. Then we have again Broadcom, and again we have some other companies. Let's say Synopsys. Then we have Cadence, Excelink. Let's say if you see only 30 results, if it reaches to 20 to 30 results, just go here, 17. Okay. So that much only we have it. And then let's say IAR. I don't know. I never heard that. IAR. So ARM, Wine River, Microcontroller, Excelink, all this. Again, we can take a note of all these companies and come up with a list of targeted companies. And that is how this will help us. Let's say, uh, 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 I'm not really sure if it would come. Car Dekho, Go Ibibo. Let's say Airtel. Airtel.com. No, it's Airtel.in. Okay, now you got MobiWiki, Broadband, Paytm, Dish TV, Freecharge, ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank, maybe they have Airtel services in their website. Some recharge. I also did long ago, a recharge using ICICI app. Singtel, Infosys. Again, Airtel might be some customer or some doing something for them. Some text must be entering, which is kind of a matching. Just dial. Some banks are coming because yeah, Airtel Bank is there, right? That's the reason some banks are coming. Now let's say idea. Idea.com it is, or what site is it? Now it is changed. It's idea Vodafone. Would have my VI. Yeah, that is change. So yeah, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts, any questions on this? How exactly related operator is working? Yes, no, we're good, bad,
Yeah. We're good.
great. So let's move on to next operator. Okay, let's take a note first. What does an operator related do? Basically, first scans the content. It basically first scans the content which is given after content of the website, which is uh, it basically first scans the content of the website which is given after related colon, for example, related colon capgemini.com, and then scans and then read other websites which has a similar content and show up in the search TS results. Okay, so that's what the operator related to. Great. Okay. So any doubts, any questions on related? We're good?
Hi Shiv, one small doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally when we search in the Google, it will shows the competitor companies, right? Without using the related operator. Both are the
Mhm.
same,
No,
or else
both are
different.
different. No. One is like we are using an operator and searching, and the other is like people also search for or people also view or similar results. Like here we search for Capgemini, and here we get people also search for view 10 more. Mhm. Okay, I can come up with the list like this as well. And once I exhaust this list, I can also go with the related.
Okay, Shiv. Thank you.
Okay. Same problem can be approached in two different ways. And it's always good to know how to solve the same problem in two or three different ways, which will always help us basically cracking the interviews, because interviewer never expect we to be aware of only one solution. They expect we to be aware of multiple solutions. All right. So yeah, that's about related. And now going back to the next operator, that is in URL. Okay. So let's go. And what is URL here? Okay, now let's say we just give this thing. Now here we got all this result. Which one is URL here? Okay, let me just add one more topic here. TYPES, types of Google search result output. Okay, types of Google search result outputs. Okay, what are, when I say types of Google search result output? Okay, so there are three things when we see in the output. So here what we see, we see, okay, I'll just take a pause. Okay, what do we see here? What are the three types of outputs here we are seeing? So whenever we search for anything on Google, we have a list of results, and these results have a three things in their output. One is a URL part of the results. So this gray, which is a URL part of the result, and this blue, which is a title part of the result, and this text, which is a text part of a result, and this is basically an anchor part of the result, basically a name of that particular website, or something like, if I just go here, mm, 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 mm. If you just type like this, okay, so here if you're seeing here, so here in a backend, we name this page, or let's say something like, okay, once we open this page, okay, this is for searches. Let me just come back. Okay, once we open this page, generally if I open this page, once I host it, here you're seeing this earth, right? I've not added the picture. Earlier I've added, then after that I remove. Maybe other example I'll give you. Mm, mm, mm. This is long ago, not this long. Share, maybe this could be. Again here earth. Okay, now here if you see that tree you're seeing, right? Actually, that tree is supposed to come here. Maybe some changes. Again, I need to push it. But otherwise, if you're seeing this tree and Shivkumar Gurram, a name over there, so that is basically again a title of that particular page. Okay, so that's where we see this part of the search result, then gray part of the search result, which is a URL part, and then blue part of the search result, which is a title part, and then again a gray part of the search result, which is a text part. So now why it is important for us to understand these three different types of output. We just search for anything on the Google, we'll get these three things. One is that URL part, then the title part, and then the text part. And again, the fourth one, which is again the name of that particular page or name of that particular website. So these four things we'll be able to see. How do we use these three things or four things in our searches? So now let's say instead of using in URL, okay, now I say, okay, fine. In URL, I need to find a resume. I need to see a list of what we say, a list of uh, websites or list of personal profiles or list of personal blogs or list of resumes, let's say. Okay, I need to see some kind of a search result where in the URL resume word is existing. So in URL resume, so now we see free resume builder, resume.io, Novo resumes, job seeker, then again Adobe says create resumes, resume builder, templates, enhance CV, how to make resume, live career, all those templates, this thing, that thing is coming. So let's say along with resume, we'll add just, so all these are resume builder sites or some template sites or some job sites or some websites. Okay. So think like, okay, fine. These are those resume building sites, but will anybody give their personal email IDs? Might not be no. So let's say just add gmail.com. Okay, then we started getting Indeed, Google, sites. Then we started getting some CVs also. Then share your resume, updated resume. But if you see this, every URL has a word resume. Even this is a profile from LinkedIn, but here if you're seeing in the URL, resume word is reflecting. So what we're trying to understand here first, what does in URL colon resume do? In URL colon resume gets us a list of results of all those URLs which has a resume in the URL. Now, if you see here, every result has a resume in the URL. Even if I go a last result of the last page, I would not repeat, otherwise many more will come. Let's go for this. Okay. Now, even if we see here, this is advertised now, but let's see, let's click on this three dots. Okay. Declaration in resume, declaration hyphen resume hyphen for hyphen fresher. Okay. Hacker rank. Again, if I just click on this three dots, hackerrank.com/resume. So every URL has a word resume in the URL part of it. Every search result, when we look for the URL has a resume keyword. Now, basically, let's say I just search for, now, instead of searching this much, if I just search for resume, instead of in URL, we are just searching for resume. Now, this resume, so initially this sponsored, just leave it sponsored, those are the paid one. So free resume builder, resume.io, Novo resume, still we are getting a resume list of results, which has a resume in that particular searches, but not necessary that resume keyword is existing only in the URL part of it. It could exist in the URL, it could exist in the text, it could exist in the title. It can exist anywhere because it's giving a simple keyword search. It's not giving a search with any command. When we are using in URL, that means we are giving an additional command to Google, an additional um, um, uh, rule to Google saying that get me the result, but this word should be only the URL part of the result. I don't want a resume word to be anywhere on the web page. I just want this resume word only to be the part of the URL. So let's say first understand what are the three different things what we see. One is we are seeing a URL part, a title part, and a text part. Let's take this one itself as an example. So new, not like this.
Chef, how do you capture the screenshot and paste it in the document? Any specific tool?
You can snip it. Snipping tool it is.
Okay.
Just here type, if you're on Windows, just type snip.
Snippet. Snipping.
This, this will come. That's it. You can take it. So now let's say I capture this. To keep. Arrow, arrow, arrow. Where is the arrow? This is disturbing here. Why is showing up here like this? So here comes the URL part. Right. So this is the URL part, and then this is a title part, and then this is a text part. So now, how do we leverage this URL part, title part, and the text part in our searches? So let's say now here we are searching for a resumes, though we are getting a lot of result because there's a lot of data existing uh, on Google, which has a resume keyword, and it is giving us as a simple keyword search. But when you give an additional command to Google, look, Google, give me the keyword a resume, but please give me this resume keyword only in the URL part of the result. And that is where we say, okay, where to give in URL colon. That's it. That becomes a strong command. And that is where we'll see the list of results, which has a resume in the URL part of the result. Now let's say in URL resume, simple, as simple. Now let's say I want software engineer to be a part of a title. So how do I do? In title title. Thumb rule, whenever we use software space engineer, we use in a double quotes. Software engineer. All right. So in URL resume, so that we get a resume keyword only in the URL part of it. In title, software engineer, so that we get software engineer or such related titles in the URL. It might not be necessary that it is only giving a software engineer, because recent Google AI changes, it is also trying us to give us synonyms of it. So in title software engineer, we'll just search. Now we get here resume in the URL and the software engineer in the title, but still we get some jobs or some jobs building sites, resume building sites, or some career site, enhanced CV, all those stuffs. Okay, but understand the concept. Don't go, how do I get online resumes? That where we'll come slowly, but for now, let's wait. So just understand the concept. So when I'm trying to say in URL, I need resumes. Every URL has a resume keyword. In title, I need software engineer. Every title has a software engineer, even if I just go to some of the last pages. So every title has a software engineer. Every title has a software engineer. That software engineer is existing in every title. Now, we also have a text part of the search result. In text text, I would say gmail.com. So now we started getting the results. Now, again, we have a couple of results which are resume building sites. That by default, it will come because our keywords are existing over there. In URL, resume is existing. In title, software engineer is existing. In text, though they are saying these are the sample resumes, but they might give just gmail.com here and there. So that's the reason we are getting that results, but don't worry. Okay, we can always what we do. So first understand these three things. Did we understand what does inurl do here, what does intitle do here, and what does intext do here? Three things. Did we clear?
Yes.
Good.
What could be the use case for this? I mean, hiring manager asking to look for software engineers who have got their resumes, and then who have mentioned their Gmail ID in the web. That could be the use case.
That's simple. It's not about hiring manager asking. I just wanted to search for open web profiles or anything. Try to focus on the concept, not the use case now. Use case will come later.
Sure.
Try to focus what is inurl doing here, what is intitle doing here, what is intext doing here. Are we good? What is inurl doing? Inurl is basically giving us a list of results which has a given keyword after inurl colon in the URL part of the search result. In title is giving us a list of search result which has a keyword given after in title in the title part of the search result. In text colon, what is doing here? It is giving us a list of result which has a keyword given after in text colon in a text part of the search result. Clear? URL part, title part, text part. Clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Great. We
Sure.
understood, right? Now,
Can you just explain me related thing again?
related will come
Explain.
back again. After this, we clear this, then we'll go back to related. Did you join late?
No, I'm new to this, but I was little confused how related to do is doing.
Okay,
Working
let's
it.
complete this. Then again, in last 15 minutes, we'll cover related again. Okay. So are you clear on this now at least? In URL, what is doing? In title, what is doing? In text, what it is doing?
Shiv, I have one question. I mean, I need some clarity on the in-text. I understood the in URL and in title, but in-text, could you please explain that once again, please?
Okay. So here, what are the three types of results what we see in Google output?
So you have in URL and I mean the URL, the title, and the text.
Exactly. URL we see, title we see, and the text we see. Now, when we
Yeah.
want a specific keyword to be a URL part of, in the URL part of a search, we are using in URL. When we want a specific keyword in the title part of our results, we are using in title. When we use a specific keyword to be a text part of a result, we are using in text. That's simple.
Okay, got it.
Okay. If I need a resume in the URL part of it, I'll use in URL. If I need software engineer in the title part of it, I'll use in title. If I need Gmail in the text part of it, I'll use in text. That is as simple. Anyone, are we clear on this? What is in title, in text, and in URL doing here? So this is very basic. Trust me, this is very, very basic. And if this is not clear, tomorrow everything will be bouncer. Completely bouncer. Trust me. Are we clear on this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
100%. Even if you have 0.001% of doubt, also please feel free to ask.
Can you just show one example with all these people?
Great. So first I'm asking you, are you clear with the concept? What is in URL doing? What is in title doing? What is in text doing? Are we clear with that concept I'm asking? Examples will come later.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
100%?
so far.
100%?
Yes, sir. 100.
Manish? Arshad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. In URL is giving us a list of results of a keyword which we have given after in URL. It is making sure that that particular keyword existing in the URL part of the search result. In title, it is making sure that that particular keyword is existing in the title part of the search result. In text is making sure that that particular keyword given after in text colon is existing in the text part of the search result. That is as simple. Okay. So here we have all the three. Someone asked me, can we show some example with all these three? Yes, here is example. In URL, resume. In title, software engineer. In text, Gmail. Space is basically and for Google, so we are not using and. Now let's say I would use HTML and additional keywords, CSS, JavaScript, and additional keywords. Then we started getting some resumes. Okay, some create a resume or some sample. We'll just say last. I'll just come to the last. Minus SAMPL is sample. Sorry, it is not the last. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, minus. So in last session, we cover how do we do not if we want to exclude all this examples, samples, minus examples, minus sample, minus samples, minus job, minus career, minus careers. And what else? Or minus jobs.
Templates.
Hmm?
Templates. Minus templates.
Template, right? Yes. Minus template. Okay, it's recorrected the spelling. Okay. Minus template. Okay. Dagan but. Craig.
So can you paste this string in the chat box?
Helping. I'll update in this as well.
Oh,
How cool is that? Now let's say I just need someone from India or Bangalore. We get a lot of results, but from all over. All right. So now let's say an additionals, okay, in URL resume, every URL has a resume in the search result. In title software engineer, every title has a software engineer in the title. In text Gmail, once we open, we'll realize every resume, every search result has their Gmail IDs. Then HTML, CSS, JavaScript, just an additional keywords. Then whatever the irrelevant keywords were there, like example, samples, jobs, careers, job, template, all those we have excluded by using minus use case we covered in our last session. If you have not, if you're not available, please refer to the recording I'll upload after this session. So now let's say, again, I need someone from Bangalore or India. Okay, those are again additional keyword, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bangalore, India are again the additional keyword. And whenever I use or thumb rule, we close with the brackets. That's the reason open the bracket before Bangalore, space or space, India, close the bracket, enter, and 45 results. And here we are using only intitle software engineer. You can use multiple intitles. You get to see your download links also. Just go here. Awesome. How cool is that? JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Solidity, senior software developer, and those are the purely passive profiles. Hmm?
You just said what profiles?
Yeah, these are the live profiles, web profiles, available completely for free.
So Shiv, I have one question. Are these profiles available on any of the free resume uploaded website, or like how does
A free resume uploaded website? It could be their personal website. End of the day, it's freely available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's as simple. That's the basic magic of in URL, in title, in text, and using not. Now let's say software engineer in title. Well, can I use multiple in titles? Yes, we can use multiple in titles, but make sure that before using in title, when you're opening a bracket, there is a space. Otherwise, opening bracket element, when you mix up with the in title, it gets confused. So in title, software engineer, in title, SDE, or in title, software developer. And I close the bracket. We get more results. Little more.
so Shiv, after opening the bracket, space has to be given. Is that what you said?
while opening the bracket. While closing the bracket, not needed, but it's always suggested if you're using some operators like this, use those spaces, because this opening bracket element, if it mixes with in title, it get confused.
Okay.
So here it is. Amazing. Is that cool? Yes, no,
Very cool, sir.
good, bad, exciting? Please talk. No sport will tell you to please talk. Most of them like try to run away with the questions. I'm asking you, please make me uncomfortable by asking questions. Hmm? As I told you, I'm just testing out in the market how people are taking a training by 100 rupees, by paying some 500, 1,000 rupees. And I'm saying like, oh my God, you don't really have a platform to ask questions. There is someone monitoring your questions valid time. And the one they are actually ready to answer, they're only answering those ones. The other ones, you are not even able to see on the screen that your question is popping up over there. I'm just asking you, ask questions.
Shiv, instead of using multiple intitles, can we use in the same entitle with multiple keywords?
Instead of using multiple in title, can we use
Multiple keywords in one entitle?
one in title, and instead of using
Yes.
multiple in title, can we use in title software engineer or in title software developer or oh, shit. Okay, instead of using this, can I use something like this? That's an interesting question. We can use it. Till few months back, we can use it like that, but the recent behavior, it's still showing the result, but not appropriate results. Okay, in title, and then I open the bracket here. So having a bracket, opening bracket element doesn't make sense here, because here what it's doing, it's searching for entitled software engineer or SDE or software developer. It is not necessarily searching SDE or software developer in the title. Can everyone go on mute, please? Okay, so here, first command, entitled software engineer, which ends here, or SDE, which goes as a normal keyword, or software developer, which goes as a normal keyword. So that becomes a little confusing for Google to understand what this human is searching. So that's the reason this opening bracket element we have to remove and we have to keep it here. Now, when we do this, in title colon and again opening bracket element and again the double quotes, again Google gets confuses. It might give the result, but again there would be a mix of false positive results. Let's try that one as well. Okay, so we have more results, but as I mentioned, software developer, resume, wow jobs. We don't know from where it came, but that came. Online resume, because an additional keyword. So though we have a better results, but at the same time, it will be a mix of false positive results. It's always better when we are using intitle to use intitle software engineer or intitle SD or intitle software developer. Like unlikely in this search, we have only 48 results, but they're to the mark. But let's see if I can vomit, repeat. So 39, but same thing I'm using here by using intitle software engineer SD or software developer. Here, these two keywords are understood as an additional keyword, but not as an in title. That's the reason we are getting, though we are getting a list of keyword, but not exactly what we tend to get it. Though it's a right practice, I would not say you can completely remove in title and use that software engineer SD or software developer as a additional keyword, because People might mention in their personal website as a resume. The title of the website, they mention my resume or my website or my CV. But additional keywords can exist in the text of the page. But try to understand the concept, what inurl is doing, what intitle is doing, what intext is doing. Dive deep will do it later. But try to understand what intitle, inurl, and intext is doing. Are we clear? Yes, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sure.
Great. So let's say similar search I'll give. Without using intitle. I get more number of results. Because here there is no strong command saying that give me a software engineer or SDE or software developer as a part of a title. We're just searching in the page, in the text of the page. It's a normal text search. You can show me a list of results where software engineer, SD, or software developer exist. And that's where we just got many more results, 1300 plus. And if you open, those also will be resumes. The reason because we are using in URL resume. That's reason every profile which exists here, every result which exists here, I would not call profile, every result which exists here has a resume in the URL. The unique catch over here has a resume in the URL. Even if I just go to last result of the last page, I would see resume in the URL. Cool. So here also, if you see, there must be a resume in the URL. Though this big, but if you see finally resume in the URL. Resume in the URL. Resume in the URL. Resume in the URL. So that's the magic of Boolean operators. Yeah, I'll just take a pause. Any doubts, any confusion on what does inurl do? What does intitle do? What does intext do? We are good?
Shiv, after entitle, right? After opening a bracket, giving space and without giving the space, are the results different or is one and the same?
See, again, you'll have a mix of false positive. If you're the closing bracket element, if it is getting mixed with the intext or intitle or inurl, what happens is it gets confused. Earlier it used to work, but nowadays it started getting confused because those operators are mixing. So it's not really trying to understand whether this human is searching for inurl because the operator itself is messed up. It open bracket, then there is no space, it's inurl and then colon. So that continuously gets into it. So that's the reason like it's get confused. But when we open the bracket, give a space, we are clear. The inurl is different. Opening bracket element is different, which we are using for OR because we have here multiple ORs in between. And closing bracket element also we are using for OR because we have a multiple brackets in between.
And after pipe
Multiple
symbol
ORs in
also,
between. Huh?
and after pipe symbol also, we have to give spaces, right? Before starting the next keyword.
See, if you're using some operator in this, then I would suggest use a space. Now let's say Bangalore or India. We are not using operator. It's just a keyword. It's okay. I don't use space. Even here also I don't use space. That's completely fine. It understand what it is supposed to be. But if I use operator here, like intitle, so mixing this element of opening the bracket with intitle colon and then this semiquotes might confuse Google. If I'm using like this, then I'm clear. And then I'll just give a space here to be clear on my search. But let's say if I just don't use this space, you might get similar result. But again, when we write some lengthy searches in future, this is very short search again. But when we write some lengthy searches, then it gets confused. This is a Google search query with the several parameters that will look for web pages that meets the following criteria. The URL contains resume, wow. The title of the page contains software engineer, SD, or software developer, wow. The page includes the text gmail.com, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, wow. The page is related to Bangalore or India, nice. The word example, sample, samples, job, career, career, or jobs or templates are excluded from the search result. Overall, the search query is designed to find the resumes of software engineer and developer with skills in HTML, CS, and JavaScript who are based in Bangalore or India and use Gmail. It excludes pages that are not relevant, such as examples, resumes, job posting, templates, and all. Examples of. Awesome.
Is this ChatGPT extension?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I installed it. So whenever I make a searches, it reads from my searches and try to improve the searches. Basically, it gives me the explanation what it is doing. But yeah, for you also, it's a great explanation.
I have a quick query. Similarly, we can give multiple keywords with in URL as well. Am I right?
Yes, in URL resume.
So how with in URL, how we are supposed to give? Okay, similarly. Okay, yeah.
Again, in URL. You can give like that also, but like this, let me tell you, in URL CV. Now we get little more resumes, little more profiles. But let's say now I'm saying, can I use in URL without using resume or CV? Is this correct? Without using
CV.
Without using
Yeah.
multiple in URLs, I'm just using in URL colon, open the bracket, resume or CV. There is no space between resume or CV.
Well, well, to me it sounds to be a bit logical, but I don't know like how a Google algorithm would interpret it.
See, again, basics. Stick to the basics. There's a concept. I did not cover a thumb rule of using in URL. I thought of covering it tomorrow, but good that you bring it up today itself. Any URL on the whole web, any URL on the whole World Wide Web has no space. You find me a URL which has a space.
Your voice broke for me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Any URL on the whole World Wide Web. Any URL on the whole World Wide Web. Millions and billions of URLs are there. But no URL exists which has a space. You get me a URL, Shiv, this is the URL which has a space. I'll give you 10,000 rupees. I'll give you $1 million rupees. Okay. There is no URL which exists with a space. This is actually a part of our next session where I covered about anatomy of the URL. But I'll just give you the high level of it today. Just take it for you. Anatomy of URL, which is just tomorrow. How the URLs are structured, understanding the URL pattern for the search results. Maybe in tomorrow's session, we'll cover that. But for now, understand one thumb rule. There is no URL on the whole World Wide Web which has a which has a space. There is no URL exist on the whole World Wide Web which has a space. Why? We'll cover in tomorrow's session when we are doing that anatomy of how the URLs are built, how the URLs are construction. That I'll cover in depth in but tomorrow's session. But for today, just have one thing in mind, saying that, okay, there is no URL exist on the whole World Wide Web which has a space. So now if I'm using in URL colon resume, where there is no space, it is logical, it makes sense, and it is right. But if I use this space like this, in URL resume or CV, as I mentioned, there is no URL exist on the whole World Wide Web which has a space. So what this will search, it will search for in URL resume as an operator with a strong command. It shows a resume in the URL, or this CV will go for a task as a keyword search. This CV can reflect anywhere in the URL, in the title, in the text, and we will get all false positive results. Okay, visual CV, my CV, VJVX. So now we started getting a mix of results, which is again a false positive. It's not doing the job what it is supposed to. Okay, again, vacancy co-work, I don't know what it is. Co-ID. So if you see this URL, there is neither a resume nor a CV in the URL because that CV must be existing somewhere on the page. But if we use this in URL without any space, then we see that, okay, we get a list of URLs where a resume or CV is at least existing in the search page. Similarly, VBNet, what it is coding for me? Okay, similarly, instead of using like this, I can also use in URL. CV or resumes. Okay. So again, here few thumb rules while we use in URL, in title and in text. There should not be any space after colon and the keyword what we're giving, like immediately. Here also in title, there should not be any space. In title, there should not be any space. In text, there should not be any space.
Shiv, I have one doubt here.
Mhm.
In title is the we can keep under semicolon.
You can see double quotes are basically a strong command. Okay, any doubts? Any confusion on what does in URL do? What does in title do? What does in text do? We are good?
I think Shiv,
Hmm.
he meant to ask whether we can replace colon with semicolon. I don't think if he was talking about double quotes. After
Oh, okay,
entitle,
got it. No. Colon, semicolon, no. It has to be colon. It should not be a semicolon. You're saying this, right? Instead of in title, instead of using this, can I use this? No, we can't use this. Any operator or, and these are the operator which are again case sensitive and has to be written in a small caps. Okay. Are we good? Any doubts? Any confusion?
It's good, Shiv, for me.
Awesome. Okay, so I think that's it for today. We'll just go back to some of the notes. It basically gives us a list of search result which has the given keyword. Which has the given keyword. Which has the given keyword returned right after. What does inurl do? It basically gives us a list of search results which has a given keyword right after the URL, right after the in URL. For example, in URL resume. which has the given keyword written after the keyword should be existing in the URL part. Let me rephrase it. It's not correct. Okay, it basically gives us a list of source results which has the given keyword written right after in URL should be existing in the URL part of the search result. All right, for example, resume. In this example, every URL. Similarly, okay, what does intitle do? It basically gives us a list of search results which has the given keyword written right after the intitle should be existing in the title part of the search result. Okay. For example, okay, what does intitle do? It basically gives us a list of search result which has the given keyword written right after the intitle should be existing in the title part of a search result. Title part of the every search result. Okay, for example, intitle software engineer. In this example, we'll see a list of result where software engineer existing in every title part of the search result. So that's about in text, not necessary because in text is kind of a you give whether in text or not. Just by searching for a keyword is also it's so when we just search for a keyword like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we searched. Okay, whether you use in text or not, it does the same job. It is searching for a keyword in the text of the page. So in text, not required. But understand the concept. Tomorrow, it is required when we wanted a strong command stating that this word should be existing in the text. That will cover in future. I'll tell you when we go for some of the advanced searches, then you'll get to know that, okay, fine, this is where the in-text is making a magic. But for example, in this example, entitled software engineer, So yeah, are we good? What does intitle do? What does intext do? What does inurl do? Yes, no?
Yes, chef.
Yes, sure.
Everyone, 100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you are unable to say yes, then please ping me here in the chat. Just say yes, 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 100%.
Yes, Shiv, understood.
Anyone who has 0.0001% of doubt.
Something is crazy, Shiv. I tried to give chat, like try to put my reply in chat. It's giving me Shiv Kumar Gurram is not in the meeting.
I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that's about in URL, in title, and in text. And thumb rules, whenever we use in URLs, thumb rules. So in title. First, so now if you see sometime typo, what happens? I will be capital. We need to make sure that it is small. See here. These two are correct. I'll color code it. And this is wrong. I'll color code it. All right. So yeah, that's about it about in URL space. Mm, 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 mm. And then second thumb rule. All operators. All right. And tomorrow we'll cover anatomy of in URL. Then that's where we'll go in depth. For now, this is what. And now someone asked, can you explain me what related is doing? Okay. So related is something. Now, when we used related :www dot capgemini.com. So what it is doing is like it is actually trying to search a text which is existing on capgemini.com. Let's say I just open capgemini.com. It's trying to read the text: insights, industry, service, career, news about, we respect, privacy, policy, all those stuff. Then lot of stuff, whatever is existing on capgemini.com, all photos, all text, all content. It is trying to read all this content. It is trying to read all this text available on capgemini.com. And in a backend, it is also searching a similar text existing, similar content existing on the other websites. And those are the list of results coming in over here. Now you see, we search for related :capgemini.com, but we did not see Capgemini here. But we see the competitors of Capgemini or similar companies like Capgemini, which has a similar content or similar text or similar pictures existing in these websites. Similarly, when I use ICICI.com, I think ICICI.com, ICICI bank.com, I believe it is. Yes, it is a bank.com. Bank.com. Then we get all the list of banks, which are ICICI Bank competitors. Because again, it is trying to read the content or text from the ICICI Bank and trying to show which are the other websites which has a similar content or a similar text. Or let's say Intel. So again, it's trying to read Intel website and again trying to search for other web which has a similar content and showing up over here. So that's what related is doing. And again, it has to be written in the small caps. Yeah, good. Someone asked this question.
Yes, sure.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Great. So any other doubts, any other confusion from the today's session? And some on operators like related, on operators like inurl, intitle, intext, their use cases, what does it do? See, trust me, these are the very, very, very basics. And if these basics are not clear, tomorrow would be completely a bouncer. And tomorrow we'll have anatomy of inurl. Then after that, we'll have test, level 1 test. And whoever clears it, you'll get a certification.
Shiv, can you please mention in the notes, as you told earlier, while we're using in title after opening the brace, we have to use space, right? Can we mention in the notes also, so it will be useful for us?
No, didn't get you. With?
While using in title, we start using the brace, right? Opening brace.
Okay, I'll mention. Okay, while we use multiple in URLs, multiple in titles, right? Multiple in title. Space. Space between.
Before the opening bracket also, we have to use the space.
Opening bracket. Okay. Opening. And before. Okay.
And the same
So
thing applicable for in URL
applicable
and
for in
in
URL.
text. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Earlier it was showing up, but it's slightly changing. So that's reason we just need that space so that we are clear with the Google. Just a month ago, it was showing up, but now there's a chance. I would not say it's 100% not showing. It is still showing, but there's a chance it might go away. So it's better to use that space. All right. So any doubts, any confusion on today's part? What does inurl do? What does intitle do? What does index do? What does related do? 100%, we're good?
Yes, sir.
Great. Awesome then. Chala then, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's connect tomorrow on understanding the anatomy of in URL.
Thank you, sir. Bye, everyone.
Can you upload the 23rd session?
I'll upload, but as I mentioned, try to please be available live, because about the uploading, I'm not really sure, really choked on bandwidth.
Okay, thank you.
Earlier it was getting done in 5-10 minutes, but nowadays like YouTube is at least taking 30 minutes to upload.
Oh, okay. Because
So
I
I
was
literally
missing the
need to see.
23rd one, but that's fine. Thank you.
I'll see. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.